And we're live again. We're live everywhere. One of these days, Eric, we are going to be live like 14 platforms at once, and there'll be a camera on. Well, cheers, guys. Today we are doing a social experiment. We're also live with our friends on TikTok, and so we might be just jumping out once in a while to go and answer some questions on the TikTok platform. Christina's here to help me facilitate that. Eric's behind the camera. He's on the computer. Great to see everybody jumping in here again. Damien and Existential Paint, how's it going? Yeah, no. My future is so bright, right? I got big news I'm going to share with you guys. We actually got picked to be part of a advertising campaign for YouTube here in Canada. Did a photo shoot. What was it, last week? Did the photo shoot last week? No? I shouldn't be telling anybody about this? Oh. Why? Am I not allowed?
We will bring more
legal stuff? Damn. Okay. Well, here I am. I'm ahead of myself again. Well, I can't tell you anything about that. Yeah, it's probably already spilled out now, though. All right. Backtrack. What's going on, everybody? Look at all these people jumping into the live chat. This is awesome. I am flipping exhausted. Let me just tell you. I've been working every day, I think, for the last 31 years. But especially this summer, it's been a real big push trying to get that farmhouse done. Just telling the folks on TikTok that we're just down to the last bedroom and bathroom. Carpet goes in on Monday for the bedroom upstairs. Really looking forward to getting this finished. I can't wait to start doing videos in the new studio at the church. We're just a couple weeks away from production for that. So that is exciting news. We almost got our application to go from institutional to residential. That's almost done. I think we're down the last week and a half on that. That takes a while. That's 3 months, right? That's 3 months to get that done, that whole process. We bought a church, in case you weren't aware, guys, on TikTok. And we are applying to have the zoning changed before we can start renovating. So there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes. We're really gearing up so that even if COVID continues to be a problem and causes disruption, right, in our world, at least we're going to be able to have tons of content and ability to make amazing videos. All righty, here we go. Let's just talk about tools real quick, because we're going to jump in today and talk about tools. It's a never-ending subject. Whenever you're on social media, you'll always see guys doing tests and reviews. And I saw one yesterday. It was a DeWalt impact driver versus some other tool, and at the end of the day, the other tool is faster than DeWalt. And then the disclaimer goes, sorry, my DeWalt's a year old and I use it every day at work, so it's probably not as strong. I think he got a different result than he was hoping for. Bottom line, when you're buying tools, especially the cordless and battery types, right? They do deteriorate over time. You're not going to have the same level of performance on day one as you are on day, 730. Okay, 2 years later, it's not going to be the same as day one. But in the DIY world that we're dealing with, let's just try to give you some really good common sense advice here, okay? There are good tools, there are better tools, and there are best tools, okay? As a DIYer, you don't need to worry about the best tools. And in the world of tools, you do get what you pay for. There's no hack to buying tools. There's no, hey, this is only $60, what a deal. No, you're buying a lesser tool than the one that's 120, okay? So understand that. So then the question then becomes, well, what do I need as a homeowner? So I like to preach, generally speaking, when it comes to power tools, I like to push towards the DeWalt line. A, because it has a really good longevity. It's a great entry price point. It's not too high, right? And you're not going to ever be underwhelmed. And as your skills develop over a couple of years of doing DIY, you're going to want to make sure you're still using tools that you have yet to have enough capacity that your need from the tool is surpassed by your ability. Does that make any sense? Like, if you are a really small person and you're using a big tool, you're going to find that really heavy tools are going to wear you out more than the job. And in the world of tools, I don't know if I'm making any sense there right now, but in the world of tools, you are not going to perform at the level that the tool can perform until you've got a few years under your belt. So you might be able to get away with a lower cost, cheaper tool and then be willing to upgrade later. But what I'm saying is my experience with power tools is if you bought a good DeWalt drill like this year and you're just getting started, 3 or 4 years from now, that tool is still going to be performing well. You can buy new batteries for it and get a lot more power available. You're not going to be disappointed. Okay. Where if you go out and you buy something from Harbor Freight or some no-name brands or something from Walmart or whatever, and you might be disappointed. Just saying. So don't worry about buying the best tools as a DIYer. That's for the trades, right? But don't buy junk because you're going to surprise yourself how fast you can get good at what you're doing and how more eager you're going to be to jump in and do a project once you've had some successes, right? And you're going to be more and more putting your time into different things. So let's talk about tools and when and what DIY tools you need, where to start when you want to start amassing all of these, purchases. First of all, I'm going to encourage you as a DIYer, get job site tools and not workshop tools, unless you're going to get big into doing woodwork, okay? And you have a huge workshop. I have a job site table saw. It's from Rigid. It has a lousy brake system on it, but it cuts amazing, right? It's portable, does a great job, and the fence locks front and back really consistently in a straight line. I've worked with other cheaper options before, and they're always disappointing because they're always binding the blade because the fence, the guard that goes next to the blade, we call the fence, it's always twisted. And so if you're going to get a table saw, don't be afraid to grab a Rigid. It's a good quality tool. It's a good entry point. And outside of that, if you get a DeWalt drill and a Rigid table saw, and the reason I say that is because, DeWalt makes some great table saws, but the Rigid does come in about $100 lower at that job site entry quality. And so for me, it was a great way to save $100. And I'm going to recommend that. Now, DIYers, first thing you got to buy, paint gear. Okay. I'm going to go through this. If you can't finish a job, you shouldn't start it. When we finish everything with paint. So have a good roller system, have a good extension poles, right? Get some quality trays and get a quality brush. And then you will have your paint gear set up for all of your projects for years. Remember, if you can paint the inside of your house, you get about 5% increase in the value of your home. You paint the outside, another 5%. If you learn how to paint and then you're proficient, you can also paint your doors and your trim and freshen things up. You can paint cabinetry in bathrooms and kitchens and remodel with ease. So knowing how to paint is the first skill you need. Don't have to jump into anything else until you know how to paint. The next thing you're going to want to do as a DIYer is do flooring. Now, depending on your flooring, you might get away with just buying a jigsaw, okay, and having a drill. If you had one drill and a jigsaw, you can do all your painting and all your flooring in your home in most situations, depending, as long as you're not moving into engineered or actual solid hardwood. That is a huge scope of work that you get to become the master of for hardly any tool investment, right? You can transform almost every room in the house, nice and simple. Next thing you want to do is you're going to go from having paint gear and a drill and your basic carpentry tools now, right? You want to be able to move into trims and doors and framing out windows. So now you've got to get into your miter saw. I'm going to suggest everybody out there, don't buy a 10-inch miter saw. I'm going to suggest you go all in and get the 12. By the time you're ready to invest in a miter saw, it means you're moving your skills to the point where you're going to be doing this for the rest of your life. And one good miter saw will last you the rest of your life. Okay. This is an investment tool. So don't buy something that's going to be underpowering and not be able to perform and not be able to stand up your baseboards. So you can't put on 5.5-inch base because, well, I've only got a 10-inch saw. So I got to put in 4-inch base everywhere. And that's disappointing. You don't want to do that to yourself, right? So get a good 12-inch saw. Don't be cheap. This is one investment. It's worth the money. All right. Now, with that right there, you've got your paint gear, you've got a drill, you've got a saw. You're going to need to buy a compressor and an air nailer. Now you can get into doing all of your trimming, all your built-in cabinets. You can do closets, custom closets. You can do just about everything now, except for the work with the table saw, right? So if you have a table saw and a chop saw and an air nailer and a drill and a paint gear and a couple of basic measuring, and you've pretty much got it all made, right? You don't need to get into buying all your tile tools, electrical tools, and plumbing tools unless you're going to tackle those trades yourself. Okay? For the most part, you can progress through most of your house without much of an investment. I would say the average homeowner can probably buy everything on my list for about $1,500 and still have enough money there to go and buy a variety of hand tools so you can finish plumbing fixtures and some wrenches and a few other things like that. So it's a $1,500 investment. You can do it over a couple of years. You can graduate your skills and you can learn how to finish and start working backwards in the trades, right? Moving closer and closer to starting to build a house, right? And you'll be able to renovate and remodel just about anything that you have to do. I think that's a great deal. Where else in this world can you, for $1,500, have an opportunity to maximize the profitability of your home, right? Like my farmhouse, I bought it at $230, $230,000. Sorry, that'd be funny. We're not even sure what we're going to sell it for, but we're thinking it's going to be somewhere over $6. That's pretty exciting. 3 years of hard work, tax-free money. Think about it. $1,500 worth of tools. Just saying. All these videos that I make, I use the same boring, simple tools. I don't have this huge entourage of tools, right? I've got a few things that you haven't seen yet, but for the most part, I'm trying to keep everything I do with my basic, simple set so that you guys can be empowered to not have to go shopping for a new tool every time you want to do a new project. All right. Now, let's get into the questions here. Rules of engagement for tonight. It's members only in the chat. And if you're not a member and you've got a question, feel free to super chat and we will get to you as well. Or you can just become a member. Why not? Join the membership. Help support our channel because we are doing some crazy things this year. And it's largely due to the fact that we have such amazing guys and girls out there supporting us in membership. Okay, so let's just jump right into it. Christina, do we have anything from TikTok that we should be focusing on here real quick?
Lots of people sending love, talking about the projects they've done. And we got a couple questions.
Okay.
What compressor brand do you recommend?
You know what? I just bought one from DeWalt last year. And it stands upright. It's 2 tanks. And it's for trim carpentry. And it's super quiet. And that's a consideration. A lot of them are super noisy. So this DeWalt compressor was super quiet. It's for trim carpentry. And it was worth it. It was not even all that expensive. I also go and I buy a separate 50-foot kink-free rubber hose. Okay. And that way I have lots of flexibility. I can just have it plugged in. And you always want your compressor plugged into the wall, or make sure you got at least a 14 gauge extension cord. If you reduce the power supply with a 16 gauge, you're going to be disappointed and it's not going to be able to power up and do the job for you. But that's what I would say. Let's go to this question here. Super chat from Kiltech. I have a home built in 2020 and had them install waterproof in the basement, my finished basement. I'm currently doing the subfloor and have the DMX with foam down and want to know if it's fine to use OSB tongue and groove. Wow. Okay. That's a little all over the place here. Doing the subfloor, have the DMX with foam down and want to know, is it fine to use OSB tongue groove? Okay. So yeah, I'm hoping you have the DMX and then the foam. Just saying, because the point of the DMX is to have an airspace there. Because your home was built in 2020, the only thing you're protecting your home with a subfloor system is water events that come through the window, or if you're on a hill and you have a walkout basement, it can come through that way too, freeze-thaw cycle. I don't think 2020 homes are necessarily requiring a subfloor system. You might even be able to get away with the DMX one step and just put your flooring in right on top of the concrete. So consider that. It's the blue dimpled membrane. Okay, you would probably be just fine if you put in your walls and did that. Of course, it's up to you. You're going to understand where you live and your potential water damage because of the kind of weather and cycles that you go through. So I'll leave it with you in there. Rick has got a question here. What's the best advice for adding a macerating toilet on slab? Planning to add it to what was a closet with a washing machine. and has galvanized pipe. Best brand. Well, I don't know about best brand. I know that I use SantaFlow, and it's been fantastic. Right? I haven't used every Mesa rating unit in the market, but SantaFlow seems to totally kick butt. The thing about Mesa rating toilets, just make sure that you pick one that has the rating for lifting the sewage up and over to wherever you're going to tie into your system. If you're able to tie into a drain in the same room at some point, every one of them is going to function just fine for you. So that's not a consideration. But for everybody else who's thinking of doing a Mesa rating toilet, they have limitations for how high and how far they can push. So check those numbers before you buy one to install it. All right. Okay. Oh. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Are we still on TikTok?
Yeah.
Man, look at that. Welcome, guys. It's our first time doing this. So if you're just joining us, we're doing Q&A, and we do this for our members on our live show all the time, a couple times a month. Love to get some feedback from you about what you think about doing Q&A on your platform. All right. And then we can see about maybe having you join us for our live shows more often. Don't forget, you can ask questions if you like. Christine's going to pick out the best ones today, and we will take care of some of those as well. All right. Yeah, I know. It's the way of the world, right? I think maybe in a couple of weeks, we might have a Facebook and an Instagram live, and God only knows. Like, we'll see. It might be better if we would have just one camera and be able to split it to all the platforms, but I don't know. I'm not tech savvy, so I'll have to leave that up for you guys to figure out. Okay. Marcelo wants to know, how do I fix soft spots under vinyl planks? If you've got soft spots under your vinyl planks, that means you've got a weak OSB. So the only way you can actually create any stiffness there is if you get underneath that and open up the ceiling underneath it. And then you can put in some blocking, which is basically, if you have joists on the floor like this, you could take a 2x4 going this way, and you could screw on the angles from underneath and nice and tight, and you could provide some extra stability. So that might be probably the only option. And then you're dealing with drywall. You probably have to bust through a ceiling and then tape it and patch it up and then paint the ceiling again. But if the option is you think you're going to fall through the floor, it might be worth doing. All right. Where are we going, Eric? You got it right. Okay. How to tile over a backflow valve in a concrete floor and still be able to access it. Yeah. Well, it's a backflow valve and it's a concrete floor. It's not in the middle of the living room, right? Generally, these things are in your mechanical room. So you want to just tile up to it and around it and leave the ugly access door accessible. There's no other thing to do. I mean, some things just aren't meant to be made pretty. All right. Okay. And Candace is saying she's already shopped from the Amazon picks. Oh, that's cool. Thanks, Candace. Yeah, guys, listen, we got an Amazon store. I think the Eric and Christine have been working hard to make that more sensible, right? So they're like organizing it and making better lists and groupings, and everything in my life is getting so much more organized. It's just awesome. And so feel free to check it out. Check the link in the video description. Go to Amazon, buy tools. Do we have that in our TikTok as well? Yeah, there you go, guys. So if you need tools, you want to help support what we're doing, then jump in there and buy some. I know DeWalt has pretty much everything they sell on Amazon in the Amazon store. So even if you want to help support our channel and you're buying a couch or you're buying whatever the hell you're buying, just go to Amazon, use our link, and then we can get credit for bringing you there. And Amazon will send us a little bit of love in the mail, and that'll be cool. Don't hardly ever mention that, but we've been Amazon affiliates for a couple, 3 years now. My goodness. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, shoot. Hit me up.
You might want to repeat it because I don't think you picked up.
Go ahead.
How much of your time is spent making content versus actually fixing people's homes?
Oh, well, that's a great question. So if you want to know how much time I spend making content versus actually fixing homes, first of all, I'm only fixing my house. We used to film on location with the company, my construction company, but we closed it down because it was just too, YouTube became my whole life, really, social media. So now I am renovating every day. I have my camera guy over to work with me 2 times a week, usually, sometimes 3, depending on the season. Last week, he was there 4 times because there's just so much good information we had to get through. But yeah, that's all I do now is I renovate my own property and I make videos to help you guys out. So we just are finishing our 1880 farmhouse. Next up, we're working on a church that we just bought out in the country, and we're going to convert that into a 4-bedroom home. Ought to have enough content there for the next 1,000 years. I think something like that. All right. So cheers.
Occasionally you fix floods in people's houses too.
Occasionally I'll fix a flood in my son-in-law's place. If the hose bib blows from lousy construction technology from a new house builder. Morons. Okay. Well, I just get that off my chest. Yes, they have a brand new house, and the faucet for outside froze and blew up 2 years in a row. Last year they had someone come and fix it, and he didn't fix it. He just replaced it. And the reason it blew up is because it was installed incorrectly the first time. And so this moron just reinstalled it incorrectly the second time, and it blew up again. Oh, if you wonder why you need to know how to do stuff like this, guys, it's because the level of competency out there is dropping like, what's it dropping like? It's dropping like someone who went and ticked off the mob and they threw him in a lake. That's how fast that's dropping. All right? Like, it's just unbelievable. The idea that you can run plumbing underneath your floor joist and at the last second bend the pipe up and then come through the outside of the house, and then that huge faucet rod is sitting in there, and you turn it off and you open your tap and it's full of water. You just can't drain it. Unbelievable. Listen, if you're worried about it coming up this winter, one thing you can do that guarantee you never have your faucet burst, turn off the water, open up the faucet. Now go get your shop vac, okay, and take the filter off. Now it's a wet vac. You can shove that vacuum, man, right over your faucet and just suck all the water out of the pipe. It can get minus 1,000. It's not going to get damaged. But if there's water in it, it's going to burst every time, okay? Cheers. This is DYL. Welcome to Money in the Bank. Just got another member there, guys. Cheers. All right. Eric is bringing me down to Trash Man. Can I jack up a small mudroom breezeway that has a porch connected to one side? The porch is level, but the mudroom is not. New Hampshire, 1974. All right, New Hampshire, 1974. Think about this. You're 50 years old now. Okay? Your structure has now come to the expected life expectancy where you should start to look for problems with it. All right? Yes, you can jack it up, but you want to understand why it needs jacking up so that you can not just jack it up, but make sure that you're going to get a nice, long, lasting result here as well. Is it needing to be jacked up because the foundation has erosion going on, or is it because the wood structure is not staying dry and it's rotting and it's starting to compress? These are questions that you need answering, okay? It's one thing to jack it up. It's another thing to know why, so that if there's a problem with one of your house systems, water diversion, or with your structure, you can identify that and fix that while you're doing this repair work, okay? No sense getting underneath the porch to jack it up if you're not going to jack it up and create a better, stable environment for the duration of your home. I hope that made some sense. Water this time, not wine. I don't think so, George. Cheers. It's just the only clean glass at the studio today, so I kind of look like an idiot, but that's all right. It tastes the same. All right. Brian, welcome to Money in the Bank. Cheers. Yes, and as we go, the more people that join the membership, the more cheers I have to do, the more interesting this show gets. All right, here we are. I need a question, guys. Who's got one? Oh, we're highlighted. Benjamin. Cheers, Ben. Do you need a plastic vapor barrier with faced insulation? Also, are you going to get the collab with the Linus Tech Tips? We don't know about the collab. That'd be interesting. As far as faced insulation, if you live in an area where they sell faced insulation, you also live in an area where you may not even need a vapor barrier. Okay? And I'm going to explain it the best I can. Hot and cold meet, and there's condensation. most construction technology that's out there is regional and it changes. Okay. So if you have faced insulation available for sale in your neighborhood, you probably are in a neighborhood where you're borderline. You can maybe not, depending, right? Because like where we live, we put the plastic on the inside of the insulation because generally speaking, we're 6 months a year heating our home and we're only 2 or 3 months a year cooling it. So it makes more sense to protect condensation on the inside of the wall for 6 months a year, even if we're causing condensation on the other side of that barrier in the summertime. Yeah, I know. Because the house is able to absorb a lot of water and then redistribute it again. And then when it gets cold and dry, it'll distribute it and everything will work its way out in the wash. There's no perfect system. But if you have faced insulation, you probably live like in North Carolina or something like that, right? And generally speaking, that's all you need. Okay, so double check. If you ever have a question about building technology in your area, just call the building office. Your local building office where you would go to get a permit, they'll be able to tell you if you use a vapor barrier on the inside or the outside of your structure where you live, okay? I live in Canada. I'm up north in Ottawa. If I lived in Windsor, it'd be different. But I'm using construction technology for the climate that I'm working with and the age of the homes. And it's going to be different everywhere you go. So just because you see me using plastic on the inside of my walls doesn't mean go out and buy yourself plastic and stick it on your house in Southern California. That'd be a mistake. You're going to cause mold. All right. There we go. What else we got going on here?
How about Michael O'Brien?
How to tie low over a backflow valve. Unfortunately, the backflow valve is in the main bathroom in the basement and is 2 feet in front of the toilet. Okay. Wow, that is unfortunate. So what I'm going to suggest then is this. Send me a picture on our forum. Okay, Michael? And I'll take a look at it. But there are options. If you just have a lid and it can be removed, then you could use a multi-surface bonding primer on that lid and actually attach a tile to the lid. All right. And if you ever had to get in there for service, it's just about having one of those $5 or $6 little mini yellow suction cups that I use for tile. And you can put the suction cup on it, close the handle and lift that lid off. And then you can just set it back in place and remove the suction cup and you'd be safe to walk on that. You just can't grout that joint. All right. But that might be a way to get something where it's not a trip hazard and it looks a lot better since it's in a finished space. Yeah, that's a tough one. All right. Cheers, man. Hope that helps. Yep. No vapor barriers in East Central Florida. I don't care what part of Florida you're in. There's no vapor barrier down there. That's cheers, Paul. All right. Hey, Catherine, welcome to Money in the Bank. All right. Cheers. All right. Christina, what do we got?
Are your boxers or briefs guy?
Am I a boxers or a briefs guy? You know, that's a really great question. I was a briefs guy until I got married. And then the whitey tighties just didn't cut it anymore. And I had to get into the boxers. You know, there's just nothing wrong with putting your best game on. You know what I'm saying? All right.
TikTok's going.
Okay, guys, thanks a lot for joining us. We're going to head back to our live show. Thanks for all the information, the input. We're going to go through that and study it, and we'll figure out what we can do to help serve you better down the road. All right, cheers. Where are we here? I feel like I'm missing something. Let's get back. Guys, the TikTok is over. We're just doing a little social experiment there. Justin, I'm changing my garage lights to 4-foot LED panels. Wow. On the first light, once removed, I noticed instead of directly wiring to the fixture, they had pigtailed it. I heard this is done before. That's a lot of statement. I don't know what the question is. There's nothing wrong with pigtailing. At the end of the day, if there's electrical connection and it's connected properly, there's nothing wrong with it as long as you have access to it. The only time you have to worry about your electrical is when you don't know where it's coming from and you can't trace it, right? Because that means you got a hidden box. But if they wanted to pigtail everything, that's fine. There are rules with how many wires you can have in one moret. And so if they were doing too much, they could pigtail and pigtail and pigtail, and then, I don't know. It's really difficult to wrap my mind around that one. Jason's saying that his house has no clean out drain. If he cut the vertical pipe with will the sewer stack from the upper floors collapse into the basement? What's the best way to add a cleanup? We had this question the other day, did we not?
Yes, I didn't get the login.
We didn't get that posted yet? All right. Cheers. And guys, listen, let's just bring this up right now. If you're in the forum and you're wondering, hey, how come Jeff hasn't got to me? It's been a couple weeks. I am way behind. I'm burning my ass trying to get this house finished, and it's been frustrating. Eric has decided that he's going to jump in, and we're going to be on the phone every day as I'm driving back and forth from work and answering all those form questions. And he's just got to get the login information and get up to speed. So we're going to get caught up with that. Let's just deal with this now. All right. Here we go. Let's do this. This will be fun. So we have a stack, and it is a straight piece of pipe. Okay. Eventually, that pipe goes out through the roof, and it goes underneath the concrete. And you want to clean it. Okay. Which would be looking something like this, right? And there'd be a big square nut on it. But if you don't have it, his question, and it's a really damn good question. If I cut the pipe here and here to install a clean out, will not the whole pipe just drop? And the answer is yes. So here's what you do. You're going to have a ceiling, okay? And have you ever seen all round? Are you familiar with that? Here, I'll just draw that up here. This will be life size, okay? I'm a really lousy artist, just so you know. Okay, but it's a metal cable, and it comes in a box about this big in the plumbing section. All right, it's just a big coil. All right, look in this stuff all around, and you screw the all around to the ceiling. Okay, and you bring it down like this, and you wrap it around the pipe a couple times, and you screw it up to the ceiling again. We use this even on cast iron, and it works. All right. Now you can cut your two sections. You can take your fitting and insert it in that area. But before you do that, you take two MJ clamps. It's a big rubber tube, and it's got two clamps on it that you drill. And you put it in the hole, and you slide it down to here. And you put one in the hole, and you slide it up to here. Okay? Then you take your fitting, you slide it over. You bring the clamp up, bring the clamp down. Then, oh, sorry, I forgot. You have to put a little bit of pipe inside the fittings. Okay, you want about 2 inches of pipe sticking out of each side of the fitting. Then you cut it, then you do the clamps, and then you slide this in, and then you just lift up, lift down, gear clamp, gear clamp, gear clamp, gear clamp. Boom, brand new plumbing, okay? That's how you would add it after the fact. And then when you're done, you can disengage your all around, okay? That was a whole lot of knowledge for like 3 people who are going to need it. But hey, we all learned something just now, didn't we? That's great. All right. What else we got going on?
You got kind of a two-parter.
I don't even have my mic close to my face. How was our sound, guys? Holy cow. That's interesting. All right, 2-parter. Anthony, welcome to Money in the Bank. Cheers, buddy. Here's a question. Isaac's saying he's got stand-up shower drain, keeps filling. Okay. Here's the thing. It wasn't always like this. It's not hair as we've cleaned that. I have sent Drano and stepped up to the professional stuff. Still fills up. I use a plunger and it clears up for about 5 to 6 minutes, then fills up again. As if the flow is good and then decides to stop. Not sure what else to do. Okay. Well, since we've got this out, let's answer that. Okay. Here's your stack. Every fixture in the house, bathtub, toilet, right? It all runs into the stack. And then it goes to the street. In a lot of cases, if you've got drain issues, like you're describing here, and Drano ain't solving it, which is for hair, you're going to have issues in your lateral. Okay? It's amazing how when we do these shows, these topics line up. Some of the most common causes of lateral issues down here are, well, you could have a rat that came into the pipe and died. Yeah, sexy, isn't it? But it can happen. You could have a nice little tree out here, okay? And the roots have grown in penetrated the pipe, and now the roots are tracing the water and just filling it all up, like clogging it full of roots. If you've ever seen pipe full of roots, it's absolutely disgusting, right? So you might have a house that's like, hey, it's never been a problem before. If that's the case, check underneath the ground. Have your plumber come with a camera inspection, go to the clean out, all right? And he'll drop a camera down here and take you on a tour of what's going on in your lateral, and you usually find the problem there. If you don't, then go back up to your shower and put the camera in through the shower and follow your pipe and see where there's a problem, okay? Because you have one of two things. You have a major blockage, right, in your lateral, or a major blockage in the line. When you got a blockage in the line, it's dangerous if you don't get it cleaned out, because it'll then back up into your fixtures and onto your floor and then destroy your ceiling. So we don't want that to happen. All right. Oh, bloody hell. Here we go. All right. Getting covered in marker. God help me. Wait. I'm going to clean this board off in case I need it again, because it's starting to just look like a 3-year-old art project. Here we go. Okay. Woo. All right. Brian has a question here. What would you use to level a basement floor before installing vinyl plank after French drain install? 2 rows of tile were removed around a perimeter. Tile is asbestos, so would like to avoid removing. Okay, so you want to level your floor, use floor leveler. There's actually a floor leveling compound. You need to put a primer down first, and the primer is necessary because the compound, because it has such a flowability, it has a bonding issue. Okay, so the primer is designed to bond to your floor leveling so it doesn't end up cracking over time. That's all you got to do. Okay, right over top of whatever that stuff is, and you're going to be just fine. Don't even think twice about it. It's not only acceptable to put flooring on top of asbestos tile, it's actually recommended to leave the tile there and go on top of it. Okay, so that's the end of that. Don't even think twice. If you got asbestos tile, don't touch that stuff. That's the nasty kind. I don't know if you guys are aware, but there's more than one kind of asbestos, right? Kind of like more than one type of fish. Seriously, like there's a lot of different kinds of asbestos. And the one that you really want to be careful of is the one that's got, and I use fish because it's how I remember, it's got not just a shard, but it has a fish hook on it. Okay. And those pieces of asbestos material, when you get it in your airway, they hook into your lung tissue and they will not ever be removed. And so all it is just, it now becomes a waiting game of how much of that crap you breathe in. Sooner or later, you're going to run out of lung. You know what I'm saying? So it's nasty and you don't want to mess with it. So if you see it, leave it. If you have tile on your concrete that's 9x9, guaranteed going to kill you. Don't touch it. If you're not sure, wear a mask, chip off one piece, send it in for testing. Okay, be sure. All right. I know I don't wear a mask when I work a lot, but I'm not an idiot. Okay. And if I'm going to be messing around with asbestos, damn right I mask up. I mean, I follow protocol. I'm not a fool. Little crazy, you know? I mean, for me, it doesn't matter if I make it to 85 or 87, right? I want to go comfortable.
Matters to us.
Pardon? Matters to you. Oh, and that's sweet. She wants me gone at 75 because that's her plan. Cash it in. All right. Anthony.
Anthony Bacone, new member's got a moving toilet question.
Yeah, you want to move your toilet 4 inches. Your leg will touch the wall when taking a poop. Help. Okay, that's a really tiny toilet area. Anthony, your toilet has got this going on. First of all, you probably have a bathroom that was just built really, really super small. Here's your wall. Generally speaking, the flange for the toilet. Okay. We always like to measure out 12 inches from a finished wall to the center of a flange. All right. Now, you want to move it 4 inches, you said?
Yeah.
Because that's how much room you need. Because right now you put your toilet on here, right? And then here's your toilet, right? and then here's your tank. Boom. Told you I'm not an artist. And then when you're sitting on here, right, you're telling me you've only got a couple of inches here. So you want to move your toilet back? You can only move it 2 more inches. Okay? And here's why. They make toilets that are 10-inch on center. If your walls are screwed up or if the plumbing was screwed up, they make 10-inch on center toilets. They don't make 8. So you can only move back 2 more inches. Okay? The only other option is if this is your floor plan and your toilet is here, all right, consider this option of, because you're 12-inch off center, you can always reposition your toilet to go this way on the same hole. And so that might be the better solution, depending on where the sink in the room is. Think about that, okay? Or just move a wall. It's only a wall. No big deal. And if the wall's in your way, get rid of the damn thing. All right. Can you pour floor leveler to fix divots in concrete driveway? Yeah. So the secret to the answer here is in the word floor. We generally try to dissuade people from mixing interior and exterior product and technology. Okay. No is the answer to that, unfortunately. If you have divots in your concrete, then you can get mortar that you can use to fix that. Okay. And that'll work out just fine. It's primarily Portland cement. It's going to look like a patch, but a patch is a patch. So, you know, if you need it fixed, then that's the way to do it. Okay. Somebody named Jeff has got a question. Demolished a room back to bare. Tongue and groove floorboards. Okay. Do I build another subfloor or can I use the tongue and groove wood, engineered hardwood on top? Tile in another room, same floor, 1941 Ontario. Okay. And cheers to Timothy who joined the membership program.
Cheers.
All right. Now, 1940. 1940, the floorboards were 1 inch, not 1 1/4 inches. My old house from 1880 has 1 1/4 inches. So I can actually, if I was to sand it down, I could just add a 1/4 inch plywood because you don't want to have tongue and groove as an underlay for tile. It's just not good. But you want to at least add the 1/4 inch, right? Whether it's wood or cement board, add the 1/4 inch before you go tile. If you're going with hardwood or engineered hardwood, definitely you can go right on top of that subfloor with not even thinking about it. But make sure you use an underlay for sound deadening reasons. Generally speaking, people have been installing hardwood and engineered hardwood for years without any underlay, and it's noisy as hell, all right? You don't have to tolerate it. That technology of that installation is 300 years old. Up your game, spend another 59 cents a square foot and get a decent underlay underneath your flooring. You can nail right through it, right? Why not? Impact sound, sound transmission control to the room underneath, all of these things are taken care of for 59 cents. Definitely worth the investment. Now, let's go to another one here. Okay, Andrew is finishing his basement and installing a tankless water heater. He's converting all the copper to PEX. Okay. Can I run the PEX through the floor joist? Is 1/2 inch PEX big enough for 2 bathrooms, laundry, kitchen? Okay, so let's get into it. This is fun. There are 2 ways to do PEX. One is, we'll use the hot water PEX line, okay? One is you've got your hot water tank, all right? And you have your water coming out of this tank, and you run it up, and then you run it all the way through the house, and then you tee off for all your different fixtures, right? Now, if you have someone doing laundry, and someone having a shower, and someone washing dishes, and someone running the washing machine, all right? And then you decide to go have a shower, how much hot water are you going to get? Doesn't exist, right? The pressure is pathetic. The other option is you can run this up to what's called a manifold, okay? And every single one of these fixtures has its own line connecting to it. Now, yes, you're running a lot more plumbing this way, all right? But the manifold can take a 3/4 inch line. It's a 3/4 inch manifold, And then at least every single fixture is fed with a 1/2 inch and it's not sharing with anything else. And that is a lot more efficient. It's a lot more expensive, a lot more labor intensive. But if you're concerned about it because you got a big family, then the manifold is the way to go. All right. Cheers. Oh, we got 2 more members here. My goodness.
3 in a row.
We got 3. Okay, back down. We got to cheers these. I can't leave somebody out of the cheers.
We're gonna rewind here. Let's get
We're going to rewind. I got to see all 3. Okay, Abigail, cheers. Welcome to Money in the Bank. Oh, wow. How do you say that name?
Jealous?
No, Dan. Dan? Is it Dan? Dan, cheers. And then Geplis, welcome. Cheers. And if any of you are wondering, because you're joining the membership program, we can still get questions because I have 4 different tiers, right? We got 5, 10, 25, and $100 level. Pick whatever one you like. Okay, depends how much you love me, right? If I'm helped you out and you're like, this guy just saved me $1 million, well then feel free to tip me and go to the $10 level. It's cool. No, we don't have any more benefits, not yet, maybe not ever, but we did it that way because people were asking, so I set it up. A member is a member is a member. Okay, we love you all the same. I don't have any idea what level you're at when I look at your pictures, and it doesn't matter to me. But if it matters to you and you want to be a blessing, then go right ahead. Okay, upgraded membership to loving it. See, look at that.
His name is pronounced G+.
G+. Very cool. Is that like a nickname or is that like a birth name? Who cares? That's a great name. The Thing just did a super chat, has a question. Okay, Thing, let's get into this. That is a horrific icon. My God. My dad had a room flood. Got it. Carpet, good, because that can dry. On cement, yes. You're vacuuming, and I have air mover turned on. What else should I do? Okay, ready? Proper procedure for dealing with a flood in a basement with carpet. Roll up the carpet to the middle of the room and remove all of the underpad. Okay? And then put the carpet back and then roll it up the other direction, remove all the underpad. Now, your air mover, it should look something like this. It should be a machine, right? And then it would have a little blower action on the front, right? And then it's be a huge fan action and a handle. Okay, this blower part, actually, it's a lot closer to the ground. If I did this 3-dimensionally, you'd see it, but I'm not an artist, kids. Okay, so if you put this part of the machine underneath the carpet, so the carpet sits on top, and you're blowing that fresh air under the carpet, the whole carpet will start to levitate in the room. That is how you dry a carpet. If you have the underpad still in the room, it's never going to dry. Okay? That's just not going to happen. So, look at this, another 3-year-old art sketch. That's just nasty. The point is you've got to remove the underpad and throw it in the garbage. Okay? Get some 3 mil plastic bags or something down there because it's going to be soaking wet. And then once that's gone, you can dry your carpet. All right? And if you can dry your flood out within 3 days, you don't have any risk of mold. Okay? But if it flooded and the carpet's soaking wet, consider this. Behind the walls is also soaking wet, depending on the source of the water. So if it was a faucet like at Eric's house, all the insulation on the wall was soaking wet. The insulation all across the plate was soaking wet. That is not going to dry out unless you open up the wall and get air moving in behind the wall and get the insulation out of the way too. So all these things have to be considered. When you're drying out after a flood, your biggest goal is to make sure, A, the water isn't sitting there and going gray and turning into a bacteria-filled, disgusting mess. 2, your drywall and your materials in the room are able to dry out within 72 hours so that you're not going to produce mold growth. All right? And if you're cheating or you're cutting corners or you're not being proficient enough, you could look like you have a dry space and it could still be soaking wet behind your walls. All right. And then months down the road, you're going to be like, oh my God, my house smells like mold. What's going on? You're going to pull your baseboards and it'll be solid black. And everything in that side of that wall cavity is going to be covered in crap. So do yourself a favor. Take your baseboards off. Usually they're 3.5 inches high. All right. And you can just drill a little hole where the baseboard would go. Poke it all along the wall. and check, feel inside with your fingers to see if it's wet inside. If it is, then open up. It's only drywall. We got videos show you how to fix it. Okay, get that wet crap out of there because it is actually deadly. Not today, right? But down the road, it is deadly. You do not want that in your home. Oh, Sean just joined the membership program. Wow. Somebody go to the store and get me another bottle, eh?
Jeff, if I could just add something there.
Yeah.
It's really good when you taught me that the water goes down and then straight to the sides.
Yeah. Good point. Eric just brought this up because he had a flood like this. There's a plate on the bottom, okay? And the water is behind the wall. It'll get to the ground and follows the least path of resistance, right? So it'll travel 15, 20, 30, 50 feet left to right before it even shows up in the carpet sometimes. So be prepared to drill a lot of holes and just keep going until it's dry. Till you find dry, you are not done working. Okay, Caddyshack. Whoa.
Oh my God, we got a couple of members.
Cheers. Sean. Cheers.
And we got Igor.
Igor. Yeah. Cheers. Oh, damn. All right. Whew. All right. Ay, ay, ay. Okay.
Trash man's asked this one a couple times. Can we,
Okay. Yeah. Trash man, let's do this. Should I replace my hot water tank with an instant water heater? It's my weekend getaway future home. Would this be a better option to avoid frozen pipes? 74 New Hampshire. Wow. Okay, so this is not a frozen pipe issue. It's irrelevant. Okay. If it's going to be cold enough in your house that the water will freeze, it doesn't matter what source of water you have because your lines are always going to be pressurized. So it'll freeze regardless. So let's move that out of the way. If it's an occasional home that you're going to and you want to update to that water system, that makes sense because then you're not heating water while you're not there. The other thing to consider is that a really good hot water tank nowadays on gas only loses, like a couple of degrees a day with the power. Like, it's not a big issue. I'm just saying. It all comes down to, yes, it's more efficient, but I don't know if the benefit is worth the investment. Right? Really, that's my only concern. If it's not an issue about the investment, then go ahead and do it because it makes perfect sense. Abigail upgraded her membership to loving it. Well, I'm going to have to cheers that too. Yeah. There we go. Christina's getting all nervous now. Hi, Mary. How you doing? Good to see you back. Chocolate, good to see you back. Guys, this is going to become a bit of a show. All right, Jeff. Kieran is asking me, wants to add a washer dryer in the basement. Cool. Want to tie into existing cast iron drain system? Sure. How much cast iron do I need to replace in order to do this correctly? Want to replace all of it eventually. Okay, so here's the deal. In this video, I did some art and I showed you exactly how to put in a cleanup. Same process with cast iron you can do with ABS added drain. Okay? It's the same thing. You buy a 3-inch in the top and bottom with a 1.5 T, and you can just go and add a drain to that system, no problem. You're going to have to do it maybe even twice because you're also going to want to add venting to that plumbing fixture in the same room. If you missed that part of the video, just watch this again tonight. That's the best thing I can say. Hey, I got all these kids over here chatting. I was just going to say, Eric, maybe when this post, maybe tomorrow at some point, we could even go back for a couple of these demonstrations that I did on the whiteboard. Put timestamps on the video in the information. Yeah. Okay. So that people can use it as a resource. All right. That'd be awesome. Okay. And Abigail, did I cheers Abigail for upgrading her membership?
Yes, you did.
Okay. All right. All right. So we got a Caddyshack with the K super chat. Cheers for that. Not sure if I have a French drain. I'm in Montreal, but are simple 3 to 4 feet deep window wells enough for a window at ground level? Any membrane to put Special things I should do to consider. Okay, so if you're in the Montreal area, you're dealing with a lot of snow. If you got a 3 or 4 foot deep window well and your windows are at ground level, you probably have lots of depth in your well, right? The question that you got to ask is there a drain in that well that goes to your weeping tile? That's the $1 million question. If you're not sure, you should usually have gravel or stone. You could just dig down a little bit, and there should be a piece of plastic pipe with a black sock on it. All right, and that's part of the drain system connecting to your weeping tile. If you don't have that, then the window is going to just drain and encourage water up against the foundation. And if you don't have any kind of weatherproofing on your foundation in the wintertime, you can run into problems because you can have so much snow. And here's the deal. If you get a freeze thaw and then a rainstorm, and it can happen, Montreal is not immune to serious winter and then a freak heat wave, right? And by heat wave, I mean it rains and it's 3 degrees. Or in the American scale, it'll be like 40 or 45, okay? You get that combination of water and a window well with snow, and it's going to flood out and come underneath your window into the house. That kind of water damage is not covered by insurance. Okay? So here's what you do. Instead of worrying about how your house is constructed, just keep the snow and rain out of the window well in wintertime. You can go to the store and buy a great big acrylic dome and just set it over top, right? You can throw a screw or two into it if you have to, but that will keep all of that water from accumulating and protect you from that once every 20 or 30 years freak storm. Okay? And you don't have to leave it there all year round, but it's great in the wintertime. It's kind of like wrapping up your bushes before the winter. Put it in part of your winter program to just cover your window well so you don't have to worry about the risk of a freak storm. All right. Julissa, super chat. Cheers. Hi, love your educational show. I have a question in my basement. I have concrete cracks all over. Will my house grow apart? No, that's awesome. What you have is you have concrete that dried, and because our concrete floors are not structural, it's not load bearing, we don't use rebar. So as it dries, it shrinks and it forms cracks. Doesn't matter. It's not going to hurt anything, and your concrete floor is always higher than the weeping tile around the basement. So it's always dry there. So you have nothing to worry about. Now, if it really bothers you, you can buy a caulking that you can actually it's like a self-leveling caulking for cement cracks, and you can fix it if you want to, or you can ignore it. The only thing you got to be concerned about with cracking on concrete is if you're going to add tile, you got to put a crack isolation membrane on first, and that's it. And cheers, Cindy. Thank you very much for that. You are amazing. That's what she said to me. That's what I'm saying to her. Get that? That's cute, isn't it?
That's Cindy.
Yeah. Okay, so don't be concerned about cracks. They don't amount to anything. The only time a crack in a basement, and to be honest with you, people think about cracks like, oh, water could get in or whatever. If you have water building up higher than your draining tile in your home and it's putting pressure on your concrete, even if you have 0 cracks, okay, you got Navy SEAL concrete. There ain't nothing wrong with it. If you got that much water build up, your floor is going to buckle and blow up anyway and crack all over the place because it has no rebar in it. So the likelihood of you having a problem related to the cracking is 0. As long as you've got a healthy drain system, you don't have to worry about cracks in concrete. All right? Okay, let's move on.
I like Tyler's question.
Tyler, can you briefly discuss pros versus cons of RedGuard on Hardy Backer versus Durock? Yeah. There is none. 1/2-inch Hardy Backer is, in my opinion, the same quality installation as Durock. So I don't see a problem using either or. They're just 2 different companies that both came up with a cement product to put in a bathroom, because we as a society went from showering once a week to showering every 4 to 8 hours. Right? And so it was necessary because the showers are staying wet too long. And so it was causing mold issues. So the building industry changed back in the 60s. We went to thin set instead of concrete with tile installation. And when they did that, they opened up a can of whoop because they assumed that people were going to keep the same habits. But We didn't. We got, as a society, we got cleaner. And what ends up happening is you can't change construction technology and societal habits and see what's going to happen. It's a social experiment. So what happened is everybody's house went to mold. Bottom line. So they changed. They went from drywall to using cement board, because we used to have cement walls with tile, and then we went to drywall with tile, and that was just dumb. And then they didn't mandate a waterproofing barrier, even though we could have. So then they went to cement walls instead. And now we've got fiberglass and cement, and we've got other products, and we've got polystyrene. We got all these different options out there. But if you're using anything as a cement board in your shower with a red guard, you're going to be just fine. So don't worry about it. All right. That was a lot for no reason, eh?
Yeah, that was good.
That's okay. All right.
We do ourselves.
Hi. Cheers, Melanie. She's in the comments tonight. There's Tyler. Cheers, man. Can you briefly discuss? I just did. Okay, Marcella, Brooklyn. Represent. Built 1910. You got a brownstone. Oh, nice. How should I waterproof brick walls in the basement? You don't. Yeah, here's the issue. Oh, you've got two choices. I'm going to draw again. God help us all. Okay, here we go. I'll try to keep this as simple as I can. Maybe I'll even use red so we all know what the wall looks like. Red brick wall. Okay, in a brownstone apartment. Now, here's the thing. Here's your slab. Okay. Here's your foundation block. Okay. Here's your weeping tile. So that represents where the water is, way down here, right? If you have out your red brick here, this is now above ground. If this is not waterproofed on all here, and you want to waterproof on the inside, you got two options. A, you can use one of these silly little roll-ons, right? You can paint your wall with this is going to block the water. Yeah, well, it's like you don't use paint to build a Hoover Dam, okay? Because you've got constant pressure against that waterproofing system if you roll it on. You can't manage to keep it out with a paint. What you can do, I'm going to get creative. I'm going to use another color. All the water that comes in through this brick and through this mortar, okay? It all collects and heads down to the concrete floor. What you can do is you can create a channel. And what we do is we bust up the concrete. And we put a pipe inside the house right here, a drain system, all underneath your floor. And we connect it into the weeping tile outside. All right. And then they put concrete over top. But before we put in the concrete, they put in a special layer of plastic. It's a waterproofing membrane. So now what you're doing is you're managing the water in your house. So as it works its way through and it collects and it drains, it's forced into a drain. It goes to your weeping tile system. It goes to the street. It's gone. Your bricks and your mortar are made with Portland cement. They're not going to deteriorate because there's a bit of water moving through it. Okay, they don't deteriorate based on a little bit of groundwater. But now you've isolated with this membrane a humid environment from your living space. So now you can finish your space. Okay, and just a couple inches off the wall, you can put a 2x4. You can build a wall here. Bam! You've got water management system in your basement. If you don't want to do that, don't turn your basement into a living space because it wasn't designed to be one in the first place. But that's how technology is advanced so that you can do it. There's no $10 solution here, okay? Now, putting in a French drain, if your basement is 20 by 40, boom, 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 you got 120 linear feet, you're probably looking at somewhere around $8,000 to $12,000 for a French drain system, okay? If you finish the basement with that technology and you've got it documented, it's worth the investment, even in Brooklyn. Cheers. All right. Next up.
We got lots here. There's a super chat we missed from DJ Pro Jug.
Okay, but first, I just took a drink and I'm cheersing. I missed the name. Down. Alvin, welcome to the membership, buddy. All right, let's get up to the question. DJ Pro Jugs. I'm not exactly sure what a Pro Jug is, but that's fine. He's Pro Jugs. Maybe, is that what that is? Instead of boxes, you prefer jugs? I don't know. Maybe instead of bagged milk, you like jugged milk. I don't know. What's it? See, in Canada, we have our milk in bags, but in the United States, they have it in jugs. Maybe that's what that means. Must be. Let's keep it clean. What's a good way to mix grout correctly when replacing single tiles? I can only find how to mix whole bags, and grout keeps turning back to powder. Okay, so the grout turning into powder issue is a separate issue. Now, what's the best way to mix grout correctly when replacing a single tile? Mix the whole bag. Here's why. Grout is a bag of, it's a mixture. Okay, not a solution. It's a mixture. It's a dry mixture. You've got a little bit of this, a little bit of this, a little bit of this, and it sits in a bag and it drives around the country and it vibrates and the small particles go to the bottom and the big ones go to the top. And so when you pour a little bit of grout out or you open your bag and you take a scoop off the top, you don't have the mix of grout. You have whatever vibrated to the top of the bag. Understand? So when you want to replace a tile, let's not be cheap, okay? Because if you're repairing a floor, the bag of grout is going to cost you 10 or 15 bucks. Suck it up, Buttercup. Mix the whole bag, get the right consistency, get the right blend of technology, and then throw the rest in the garbage when it dries. And oh well, right? It's part of the cost of the repair. Or you can hire a tile guy to come do it. That's what he's going to do, and he'll charge you $500 for the trouble. Your call. All right. Oh.
Related question from Zibzer.
Okay. Hello, Devon team. What's a good oscillating tool blade that will cut MDF? I use the wood blades, but they burn through more than cut through. Wow. That's a really good question. I would go with, I don't care. I'm trying to figure out what in the world you're doing that you need an oscillating blade for MDF on a regular basis. I'm like, did you buy an oscillating tool instead of like a circular saw or something? Like, what is the deal with that? Fine tooth will work better, but the manufacturer or the color printed on the metal isn't going to make a difference, right? It just vibrates. So the smaller the blade, the cleaner the cut, the heavier the tooth, the more likely you're just going to increase the heat and maybe even risk burning. You don't want to set your MDF on fire after all. All right. Let's move on. Bradley. Nope. Sherrod.
Sorry, Bradley was saying cheers from Harvey Bay in Australia.
Cheers, mate.
Here's a good one.
Oh, my God. You know, I can't wait to get to Australia. Did I ever tell you guys that I have a dream? My dream is I'm going to buy a yacht and like tour the Caribbean and then sell it, and then buy a yacht and then tour the Mediterranean and then sell it, and then buy a yacht and then tour Australia, New Zealand, Fiji. Oh, yeah. Living the life. That's the dream. But, you know, I got to live to be about 300 years old and make that happen. 1975, Phoenix, Arizona, I'm assuming. Block house with 2-inch strapping for drywall with no insulation. Makes sense. Why insulate? You only live in a desert. Can't get hot there at all. Best way to add insulation to wall from the inside or outside? Oh, that's a great question. Depending on what's on the outside of your house. If you have like siding, then the best way to insulate your house is on the outside. Because it's going to take a little bit of work. And why disrupt the inside if you don't need to? Right? Because the inside of the house, you're not just insulating. You've got to have space for insulating. And have space, that means you're moving your walls. You're making it thicker. And as soon as you do that, you're disrupting all of your electrical systems in the house. Because none of the wiring is going to be long enough for an extension if you make it come off the wall even further. So you're going to run into trouble. I'm a big fan, if you live down there and you're on like a siding product, then take off the siding. If it's not a siding product and you've got a good old fashioned cement parging wall, like a stucco wall, perfect. Then go to siding, or add strapping, add rigid foam, and then go to a siding product. Man, oh man, oh man. That's a tough one. There's a couple of different options. Inside is a lot more work and it's more expensive, right? Outside is usually easier. And just to be honest, if you were to insulate on the outside, you get a thermal break. You're 100% insulation. Anything you do on the inside, you're going to have bridging with all your strapping to support your drywall. So unless you're ready to gut your house completely and start all over, go to the outside. All right, let's do this. Or just buy a second air conditioner and just let her rip. But yeah, that's not really a great long-term solution. Abigail's got a question. She has a leaky window that leaks from the outside. Well, usually that's how that works. In on the south side of the house where it rains the most. Okay, got it. How do I fix this? Can I just caulk the hardy siding around the window for now? Ooh. So the question, Abigail, is the water coming through the top of the window? Are we caught up in the chat? Can we go to the bottom and then we'll go back? Okay. Abigail, can you just let me know? Is the water coming through the top of the window jam extension, or are you seeing water damage in the bottom corners? Okay, because that's a totally different answer, and I need to know that before I can give you your answer.
Zipzer did have a little bit of an update on his question.
Okay.
MDF.
Yeah.
He's cutting electrical boxes.
Sure, let's do that. Cutting in electrical boxes. Oh, you're an electrician. Yeah. Okay, and you deal with MDF all the time, where you're putting electrical boxes. That's amazing. Yeah, just go small tooth, and you'll find you won't heat it up as bad. I'm an electrician. That makes sense. Kitchen Islands, yeah. Small tooth, really small tooth. Okay, and sometimes the best way to do that is with a small tooth blade. Is you're going to see that they're going to wear out, but just put it on a clamp and grab a metal file and resharpen the teeth every couple of days. All right, and one blade will last you a few months if you're doing this as like a factory kind of job. Like if you're doing a lot of production, you can actually take your blade when it gets dull, just take a metal file and sharpen all the teeth real quick. It only takes about 2 minutes, and then you're good to go again. C-Max says he's an amateur DIYer working on his first rental property. The sat vacant 10 years. Spiders! As I remove the chip paint, there is wallpaper adhesive all over. Do I remove the adhesive or is there another way? Oh boy. Remove chipped paint. There is wallpaper adhesive all over. Do I remove the adhesive or is there another way? Yeah. Okay. When in doubt, prime it out. Okay. If you've got adhesive all over your walls and you want to know how to fix that, I'm going to suggest that you go and paint your walls with a flat oil, which will bond to anything. And then you can paint your walls with your finished acrylic latex paint. And that'll bond to the flat oil just fine. Okay. Sand between coats and you won't have any more issues. Hoy. Okay. Oh yeah. G Plus. For my road tour, you said you want to help on our projects. Would a day looking at our house and cabin, imagining, talking about all the potential things we could do, DIY be okay? We can't decide on one. That's a great question. I'm not even sure. Best thing to do is just keep an eye out for all of the updates. All right. And look in the community post. All of our community posts, they stay there like a history, or it's like a library. So at any time, you guys can jump in and go, I wonder where he is or what the updates are. You can go to the community post and find out where we are with this tour, and we'll keep you up to date. There's lots going on in the world with the whole travel restrictions. We just got extended another 30 days before we can cross the border. We don't have approval to go yet. So it's a little frustrating on our end. So we're waiting to see when this is all going to come around. All right. So it's still our desire to come and travel and do this. I just don't know what it's going to take for us to get there. I'm dealing with immigration lawyers. I'm talking to folks with the cartel who've got some tunnels in Mexico. I'm really just trying to find a way into the country. All right. So just bear with us and we'll keep you up to date. Right. And if you do have a tunnel in Mexico with the cartel, I'm actually probably, I can fly to Mexico. I can get into the country that way. And let's talk. All right. Dan has an 18-year-old home with bathroom rough-in. Good, because, it's nice to have that taken care of. 1.5-inch drain in the concrete floor. How to fit a 2-inch shower base. Yeah, you're going to have to chip out the concrete right around that pipe, okay? And you're going to have to put in a bushing so that it's a round plastic, round ring that goes over the 1.5 pipe that receives a 2-inch pipe. That's all you can do. At the end of the day, if you're going to put in a shower base and you're doing the OVE 2-inch, that actually, yeah, you're going to have to chip out probably a 2 or 3-inch circumference around that pipe so that you can cut that pipe to the right depth to put in the shower pan as well. All right. So cheers. And you can rent a chipper. Just go to the local Home Depot or tool rental place and rent the chipper. It's a Bosch SDS hammer drill, it's called. Right. And it's just chips. You'll just vibrate like this for about an hour and you'll chip it all out and you'll be good to go. And it's $40, one and done. And then you can cut the pipe to the right depth and you'll be okay.
Follow up to Abigail's.
Water's coming at the top. Okay, Abigail. So here's the deal. Time for some more 3-year-old drawings. I really don't. These help at all? Like, just let me know because I'm willing to do it. I really suck as an artist. All right, here we go. Abigail's house. Here's her wall. All right, and here's her window. That is a lousy wall. Okay, so I think Abigail said. Hey, Sandy's in the house. Water comes through the underside trim that butts up against the window on the top. Yeah. So when you're looking at this, if this is the outside wall, okay, wind and rain is blowing against this, okay? Almost every type of siding allows water in behind it. All right? Because up at the roof, there's a soffit business. It's all full of holes. And the wind blows it. So if you're facing south and the wind is blowing, water's getting in behind, and it just follows your house wrap right until it hits that window. Now, your window has got a brick mold, right? So the water gets trapped right here. Now, if your window is not sealed properly to the house wrap so that the water is diverted out and falls on the ground, the water will push in. And because you've got a jam extension and it's 2 pieces and there's a caulking joint, that water usually falls right there or it comes out between that and the casing. And there's lots of places there for water to follow and find a way to get out. So if you're seeing water at the top, it means you don't have the proper flashing across the top of your window. So if this is your window, okay, from the side view, it's like right here. There should be a piece of metal flashing like looks like that. Goes down across and then on an angle, and your house wrap should be in front of it, and it should be taped to the flashing. So any water that comes in is diverted away from the house. Without that flashing, the water comes down, hits your jam extension, and it goes 2 directions. And the one that's causing the problem is that one. So it's all about the flashing. So if you need to replace that, the only way to do that is to peel the siding off until you expose the top of your window. It's unfortunate, but there's no caulking solution. Okay? Sorry to say. I feel bad because that's a lot of work. But if it's only on one wall, at least it's only on one wall. Just trying to think if there's another solution for replacing the window. No. There is no solution to replace a window with a remodel window and get a good weather seal. You've got to fix what's going on with that. Yeah, sorry. I wish I had better news. All right. Sandy, cheers, man. Welcome back.
We got Scott Green.
Scott Green, cheers. Welcome to Money in the Bank. Raina has a question here. One more question. And Raina, you've been in this chat since the beginning. That's awesome. Previous cooktop had downdraft venting through the exterior wall. Okay. How should I close off opening before restucco? Do I need to fill?
There's more. You got
Do I need to fill the opening 6 inches with something before restuccoing the exterior?
Can you go down to the bottom there and let me see that part? Do I need to fill the opening 6-inch with something before restuccoing the exterior? Yeah, because stucco needs something to be attached to. You're probably going to need to put some sort of backing and then some styrofoam, right? But your stucco guy should be able to take care of that repair for you. So give them a call and ask them, say, hey, can you do a quick repair on a hole? And get their opinion, because they might say, yeah, no problem, lady. Here, another $50, we'll take care of it. Save you all the trouble. All right. Cheers to Ivan. Welcome to the membership, buddy. Okay, so Tina says she likes the drawings. This is good. She's a visual person, and I am too. Well, if it's not, I don't mind being embarrassed, humiliated. If it helps, that's good. We'll keep doing it. All right, what do we got here? My God, it's already 4:20. Can you believe that? All right. Alvin has got a 300 square foot bedroom. Nice. With 3 windows that never cools, heats properly. Okay. 1 register in the space. Located on interior wall. Will splitting and relocating the register help? Alvin, I want to know where you live. I want to know, do the windows, where you live, and do the windows face the sun? And then I can suggest a couple of options for you. Okay. So hook a brother up and I'll help you out, man. Cheers. See, Paul is from Florida, from the Paul Peck drywall tube. And he's like, plywood, tar paper, and wire lath for that stucco repair. That's definitely an option. Sure. See, we don't deal with a lot of stucco where I live, to be honest with you. I remember it started to become popular, Chris, probably like 15 or 20 years ago. Lots of people started doing stucco on their homes. You know what happened? No one knew how to do it. So there's a lot of mistakes. Like they're not connecting things properly. And so there's lots of water getting behind the stucco and rotting homes out. I'm just saying, when it comes to doing a new technology like that, because we use white styrofoam as a build out for our stucco. And so what happens is a lot of people needed repairs all the time because they'd put their ladder up against the building and it didn't support their weight and it would punch through the styrofoam. Down in the South, they don't stucco on styrofoam, I'm pretty sure. They're doing it on stone. It's a totally different deal. All right. Okay, do we have an answer to that question? I don't know. About that heating, cooling, Alvin. Oh, yeah. Seattle, south-facing windows. See, there you go. So if it's not... So Seattle's pretty consistent with their temperature throughout the year, too. It's not like really dramatic. So if it never heats or cools properly, you're dealing with most likely an insulation issue and not a heat or cooling issue. 300 square feet is right on the edge of what one vent should supply. If you split that off and put in another vent, you still have the same 5-inch diameter pipe. So you're still supplying the same amount of air. It's not going to make a difference. The best thing that you can do is get blinds for your windows so that the sun isn't heating up the room, right? Really, that's about the only thing you can do at this point, unless you want to run a separate dedicated line. As far as heating is concerned, I mean, I can't see this being a heating issue all that much, but if you need more heat, is this bedroom over top of a garage? Is that possible? Hook me up and let me know. All right. Where are we here? Ivan. I'm renovating my condo ensuite bathroom. Condo meaning concrete building and have 1.5-inch drain in the floor. Yes. Hole is 6 inches in diameter, but the drain is coming through the floor on one side of the hole. I'm sorry. Did I just read that? I'm renovating a condo, 1.5-inch drain in the hole. Oh, you have a hole in the floor that's 6 inches in diameter, but the drains come through on one side of the hole.
Sounds like the hole in the drain aren't lined up.
Yeah. Okay. So it's probably a concrete building, and they core drilled for plumbing, but the plumbing is in the wrong spot. That's just great. And so you're wondering, what do I do? And the answer is, you take the pipe and you go like this, and you put a shim in behind it. Okay. All of these ABS or CPVC drain systems are very, how shall I say this? Slightly flexible. Very slightly. Okay. Because all you need is enough room to get a fitting on. So if you can't get enough room for a fitting and you're doing a renovation, if you're renovating, it means there was a fitting there before. You can get a fitting there again. All right. How's that? Okay. Okay. Trash man. Is it acceptable to lay LVP on top of thin sets? I'm putting it throughout the house and the kitchen was tiled previously. 12-meter planks, good underlayment. Thank you. So worth the membership. Okay, so yes, LVP can go on thin set if you have an underlayment. End the discussion. Okay? Hear me, world. LVP needs an underlayment. I don't care what the warranty from the flooring company says. Tell them all to go take a long walk off a short pier. You need underlayment under LVP flooring. It allows you to put that anywhere. Okay? God. I actually just filmed an underlayment video. You're going to love it. It's coming up in a couple weeks. It's going to change your world because it's like there are 11 problems with floating floors, and that anything that you don't attach with a nail is a floating floor. Okay, so there's 11 problems with it, and in that video I attack all 11 problems. It's the solution is one product. It's called underlayment. Not all underlayments are the same, and so we're steering and directing you in that regard. So make sure that if you're watching right now, hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss that video. Because, YouTube is a little finicky sometimes with letting you know when we have new videos up, which are every bloody week. So if you don't see a new one every Saturday, that means they didn't tell you. It doesn't mean it's not there. Trust me, it's there. Pardon? Tonight at 9, we have a video. Of course we have a video. It's Saturday. I know. I'm like overdosing on Jeff this week. Reality Renovision, our other channel, if you weren't aware, it's like following this chronicle of my crazy life trying to renovate the house with the family. It had a video come out on Thursday. It did really well. Fun. We're doing the master bedroom in that video. My God, what a show. And yes, Matt and I are doing much better. Thank you. It's funny because life can be stressful, but you know what stress is? It's an opportunity to grow the hell up. And it's good. When you learn how to tackle it and you overcome it, then life isn't so scary anymore. All right. Let's get back to some renovation stuff because I am not a motivational speaker. Big dirty toe. Seriously. My oven range hood exhaust runs into my attic and then stops. Oh, like it exhausts into your attic. Is that okay, or did somebody not finish the job? Wow. Okay. No, it's not okay. Here's why. The hood exhaust carries with it grease. And in the event of a fire in the kitchen, the hood also will catch fire. And if that hood catches fire and it exhausts into the attic and there's grease in the attic, your attic's also on fire. So what could have been managed by the fire department when they show up within 3 to 5 minutes as a small kitchen fire and an insurance claim is now you looking for a new place to live. So I would suggest you get that exhaust fixed real lickety split because that is not a good deal. That is scary as hell. Wow. Okay, no, not cool. Not cool. All right. Jeff needs a Mai Tai. Oh, I don't even know what's in a Mai Tai. I don't drink Mai Tais. That just sounds like a girl drink, doesn't it?
It's because we were joking about Hawaii.
Oh, Jeff needs. I can't wait. I want to go there one of these days. But it seems like quite a flight. Have you guys been?
Yes.
Yeah. What was it like?
Wonderful.
You enjoyed it?
Maui was paradise.
Really? And I live in Ottawa. What the hell is that all about? That ain't right. Why did people move to Canada? Were they not allowed in the United States? Anyway, back to the questions. I'm getting hecked by my daughter. She's like, just answer the damn questions, Dad. Tina Michelle, is it okay to dryer vent out through PVC pipe? If not, what can I put in the pipe to fix? 25 feet. What just happened to my screen? Hello. 25-foot PVC and concrete slab. So here's the thing. Wow. So you've got a 25-foot run of PVC being used as a dryer exhaust. Is that okay? You know, so let's take building code and just throw it out the window and let's ask the intelligent question. Is a smooth pipe that can handle extreme temperatures okay to use as an exhaust for a dryer? Logically, I'm going to say yes, but I am concerned about your 25 feet. And here's why, Tina. That's a long path. And I'm not concerned about fire or whatever. I'm talking about your efficiency of your dryer. If you can find a way to vent your dryer less than 4 feet, like straight out through a wall, instead of going down under the slab, you're going to find you can dry your clothes in half the time and pocket about $100 a month in hydro cost. Okay. I'm going to suggest that 25 feet is the most inefficient drying cycle known to mankind. We try to stay under 20 with dryer vents. And personally, I like to do direct vent. I always pick a laundry location where it's on an exterior wall and that pipe is literally like 6 inches because it saves me a fortune. The dryer is one of the most expensive appliances in the house. And if you can reduce the distance that you're forcing that machine to push the air, you'll find it dries a lot faster. All right. But I really can't tell you that it's a bad idea. I've never seen it before. How's that? I don't know if it's up to code, but hell, that's really, I've never seen that before. That's the first time. Any advice on old creaky floors? Yeah. If you got really old hardwood creaky floors, it's because they're really old. And the best way to deal with that is to make them brand new. You can either remove the flooring, clean it up, and reinstall it, or you can remove that flooring and put another flooring in. But there's no sensible way to fix creaking floors unless it's just one location. Because the time and effort it takes to fix a creaky floor, it's exhausting. It's expensive. So if the whole floor is bad, just remove it and do it over. Right? Remember, everything we build is designed to last 50 years. If your house is over 50 years old, you know, it's time to update. Or you don't even have to throw it out. We did a video at a house. It's on our Reality Renovision channel. It's way back. And we took all the hardwood from that house. We lifted it all up. I paid a guy to sit in the corner and clean it all up. Pulled all the nails, cleaned it all out. We reinstalled all that wood and then sanded it and finished it. That was brilliant. Okay. After we did floor leveler and new subfloor. So it's a possibility to save 100-year-old hardwood. That's not an issue. It's cheaper than buying new product. Okay. I think it's about half the price of putting in a new floor to save the old one. Just to give you an idea, but it's labor intensive. Wow. Old creaky floors. If you can identify the source of the creak, is it a weak subfloor or is it just because the house has been moving and now the nails are loosening and, you know, so usually creak is movement. It's wood on a nail that's moving over the nail. That's the sound of the noise. So the nail doesn't move, but the wood is now moving. So something else has changed in the atmosphere, in the condition of the home where the wood is able to move up and down off a nail. You can't fix that from the top. Okay, DJ Pro Jugs, thanks for advice. I'm a helper for maintenance at shopping mall, and they are who don't use the entire bag. To answer your question with a short story, I wondered what to call a DJ who blows on jugs. Bluegrass. I have no idea. Let's move on. Okay. My house is full brick on the outside. Good. 64 Ontario. Is blown-in insulation the best solution, or should I remove walls? Oh. So I'm going to just make this simple. If you live in Ontario and you have a 1964 home, your best solution for insulating your exterior walls is actually to remove your drywall and then insulate the wall and put drywall back and then tape and paint. Okay? Because 1964, they didn't have vapor barrier either. And so your house is also drafty. So you can literally just go in every room, one room at a time, and replace the drywall, insulate vapor barrier, and seal up your home and make it amazing, one room at a time. It's the best upgrade you can do on a 1964 home is an insulated thing. Don't drill holes and just pump insulation in because you still don't have a vapor barrier. And as soon as you insulate without a vapor barrier, you're going to find out you're going to run into trouble. All right? It's only drywall. It's only drywall. Just rip it off, for God's sake. It's like $10 a sheet, $20 a whole wall in a bedroom, and you can update it and save yourself thousands on your heating and cooling every year. Drywall. It's just dry. I have videos how to do drywall. You can do it. It's not hard. It won't be as sexy and clean and as sharp as I do it, but you know what? You can always fix a sloppy mess. You can always sand it. You can always fix it. It's not that difficult. Trust me. Replace it. You have 3 systems in your home that you have to update. Your insulation, your vapor barrier, and then the drywall. That's it. And you'll have a brand new home. Remove your baseboard and save it and reinstall the same baseboard because you're not changing the thickness of your wall either. Like, it's not expensive. It's literally going to cost you about on a 12-foot wall, you're looking at about $250 in material. Okay? One weekend. Every room you can do in one weekend. It's not a big deal. All right, moving on. Scott Green has got a question. The doorbell transformer died. Old one was installed in the attic. Well, that's handy. Usually they're at the electrical panel, but my God, let's put it in the attic where it's really convenient. New one says, do not install an attic. Guess why? Because it gets super bloody hot up there at some point in the year, right? And then the darn thing fries. Anything electrical that gets super hot is bad. So what's the optimal solution? Where best do I install my remodel box and transformer? At your electrical panel. Okay, the low voltage wire doesn't give a rip. Or you can do what I do, and you put in a wireless doorbell. Yeah, so you get a doorbell, and it gets a little battery, and you screw it on, and then you just plug the receiver into a plug in a room that's not really obvious, and people come, and they push the button, and the doorbell chimes. And you bypass the antiquated system of having a wired-in doorbell. And you can do it in about 10 minutes, and you're done. No attic visit necessary. Now that's a video we should probably do. All right. Project only has 200 characters at a time. Drywall is not an easy task, but satisfying once you get it. Right? The thing about drywall is once you've mastered it, like, you can do anything. There's nothing in your house you can't fix once you conquer the fear of drywall. It's like, holy cow. Loving it. Wow. After using the wedge on my drain pipe.
This was the one with the...
Yes, got it. What tool would work best to cut the drain to the depth? I need 6-inch diameter hole. Probably, I have to go down 4 inches. Okay. Are you ready for this? This is going to blow your mind. There is a Dremel bit out there. Time to draw. Ugh. All right. So you take your drill and you take a Dremel bit, and it's like this, okay? And it's a wheel with serrated teeth all around it, okay? And you put it on your chuck of your drill, and this is your pipe, and you just go down and you score it from the inside. You cut all the way around. All right. If you can't get one long enough because you want to remove 4 inches, like that's a lot, buy a 6-inch screw and take your file and cut teeth into the side of the screw. Put it into your VSR chuck and take a 6-inch screw and just make some notches and mess, okay? And you can just bump up against that pipe and rip it to shreds and no problem at all. All right. Cheers. Okay. Andrew Jones, finishing the basement and adding a cup bath as well as laundry room. Not sure what a cup bath is. What's the correct way to add the drains for the washer, vanity, toilet, and shower? Washer and vanity drain will be on the same wall. Okay, the correct way to do any drain system. We just finished filming a video. Oh, you're gonna love this one, guys. We went from a single sink in the bathroom to a double vanity. We updated the system. The way you do that is you bring a drain to each fixture and you add venting for each fixture. Okay, that's all. A 1.5-inch piece of ABS pipe or CPVC drain venting will carry up to 10 fixtures. So you don't have to worry. All right. So as long as you've got a drain and you've got fresh air at every fixture, you're fine. If you're concerned at all, you can upgrade to a 2-inch drain system. It's plenty. If you think there's going to be more than 1 or 2 things at the same time, upgrade to 2-inch. All right. And just bring it all the way back to the 3-inch pipe and you're going to be always fine. It's not an issue. All right. Bum.
The video on reality Renovision where the old floor was salvaged, which project was that?
The Cambridge Street home, the red brick. It's the one that had the kitchen and the horrible bathroom was super tiny. It was all rotted out. The bathroom floor was like totally just garbage. It had a fire in the house. I think that's what it was. You're going to get the link?
Yeah.
Good stuff. Thank you. Okay. Is it feasible to lay 1/2-inch engineered hardwood flooring over existing hardwood floors? 1/4 inch over plank subfloor. 1958 Toronto. Is it feasible to layer on layer on layer on layer? If your engineered hardwood flooring is floating, yes. But you cannot attach engineered hardwood to existing solid hardwood. And here's why. They expand and contract at different rates, and you're going to have one hell of a mess on your hands. Okay? You either float it or rip out the old hardwood first. But you can definitely float it, and it's definitely out there. There's lots of this product around. And if you're in Toronto, dear God, just go check out our friends at DeCorner. All right? Give them a call. They can hook you up. Yeah, video description DeCorner. Right. Okay. Any tips on cleaning gutters? Yeah. Pay a kid to do it. It's not rocket science. They're just going to go up there with a pressure washer and they're going to do it in about 15 or 20 minutes and charge you $200. But unless you want to get up on a ladder and do it yourself, that's really all it is. I'm installing tile in a master bath. Right on. I noticed that I have eye joists. Okay, 19.2, right? Yep. Is my only option to meet 2.5 inches. See, here's a great question. You've got eye joists that are spaced further apart than the recommended 16-inch, right? So that we can't go with 1.25 inch buildup. Yeah, you got to do the TCNA. The only option that you have is none. Just got to do what you got to do. Sorry, you're right. The wider the span, the more laminating of subfloor you need. Okay, that's all there is to it. But my roof is low slope. Oh crap, Mary, what are we talking about? My roof is low slope. Is that a conversation I'm having with Mary, or something she's talking from the roof side? Much easier than from the ground or a ladder. Yeah, exactly. Roof is low slope. Okay, get a pressure washer. Even just a small electric unit, they weigh 10 pounds, and you can walk up there and hold it with one hand and just walk the edge of your gutter, right? It's not a big deal. It's definitely worth it. Every few years, depending on how many trees you got around. Like sometimes it's nice to do every year, but I would do that. Just a simple electric pressure washer is all you're going to need. You don't need like some massive equipment. We did a video with my 3-season porch, Mary. Remember that little yellow unit that we had? That worked great. That's more than enough power. It's like 100, 110 bucks. You don't need to go too crazy. And be careful on the roof. All right.
I had a question that I think we missed it. I think it's involving raising a dryer vent so that winter snow doesn't come into it. I'm just catching the tail end here.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, so they make such a thing called a snorkel. Okay. And you'll see this a lot in houses where they put the laundry in the basement. Okay. So here's your ground level. And here's your concrete wall level. And this is where wood starts, right? And so they put in a dryer down here and they put in the pipe and they drill a hole right here because it's a lot easier than going through concrete. But this in some cases is only like 12 inches or even 8 or 6. So what you can do is there's it's a metal flashing like this. It's like a great big Z. All right. And now it raises your exhaust to 20 inches. Okay. Now, it's hard to find. You're going to have to go to a specialty store. This is not in the local building store. Okay. So go online, Google HVAC wholesale suppliers. Give them a call and say, hey, do you sell to the public? If so, yes, I need a snorkel for my dryer exhaust. Snorkel. Right. And if they go, what's that? And you say, I'm extending the height of my dryer exhaust to deal with the winter. They'll be like, oh, yeah, okay. Because, not everybody answers the phone, knows what the hell a snorkel is. Now, when you get that, you just simply install it like that, and it connects to the old, and it's like really simple. Or the only other option you have is to make your own snorkel. You can go buy a sheet of aluminum, and you can bend it yourself, but most people don't have that kind of technology handy to bend their own metal. So buy a snorkel. It'll cost you 40 or 50 bucks. It'll give you the height you need. I know some houses are really bad with the wind and location, and the snow can build up 3-4 feet, right? It's just brutal. If you have a house like that and it buries your exhaust, get a shovel and unbury it. Like, it's not that big a deal, right? But yeah, so if you have bushes outside your house or whatever, this can get buried real quick in the wintertime, first storm. So snorkel is the answer. Cheers. Is there a problem out there I haven't already solved in my career? Okay. Can I check out my drain question from above? Who said that?
It's coming. Ask him to re-ask it.
Okay, cool. Okay, what is the best product to seal inside of gutters that leak at seams? What is that stuff? I just used it on my hot tub. Okay, you guys all saw that commercial with the guy who's like a little bit interesting and flamboyant, and he made a product and he cut a screen door into a rowboat. Flex Seal, that's the stuff. Yeah, Flex Seal.
Right?
The cure's for 24 hours, all right? So like you got to at least find a stretch where you don't need your gutters to be operating, but Flex Seal on the inside of the gutter will span the gap and waterproof it. I just use it on my hot tub and connected my PVC rigid pipe to my PVC flexible pipe that had some leakage going on because plumbing was done by the manufacturer. So they obviously didn't sand the edges before they used the adhesive, and you can't use primer with that CPVC pipe because it's a softer PVC. So you require sanding before you use the solvent, but they obviously don't do it. So it leaked like a sieve when I bought it. I use Flex Seal, solve the problem. If it works under pressure of a pump, it's sure as hell going to work on a gutter. I recommend it. Philip, cheers. Welcome to Money in the Bank. All right, there we go. Ryan. Building your basement subfloor system, and I can't find the DMX AG in the States. Any suggested replacement products? Wow. There's more than one company that makes that stuff up here, right? look for our foundation waterproofing. Google foundation waterproofing membranes. Okay. If you Google foundation waterproofing membranes in your region and put in your city, and then you'll probably find a distributor for somebody who makes a dimpled plastic membrane. Like it's not rocket science, it's just plastic with bumps, right? So you should be able to find something and it'll work just fine. The other option, if you can't find it, is you could go with a dry core flooring product, right? There's nothing really wrong with it, except make sure you install it before you build your walls. It performs a lot better that way. Okay, cheers.
We're gonna go back in time here.
You're driving, baby. I'm just along for the ride. That's cool. Hey, we got 10 minutes left. Wow, can you believe that? Almost 2 hours have gone by. Guys, we're going to be really paying attention to our forum this week. Eric and I have got a plan. We're going to jump in and get caught up. Sorry about all that. I would encourage you, though, because my life can be a bit of a show sometimes. Jump into the forum. And if you know stuff and you can help people out, then by all means do it. Be a proactive community. I don't know how much longer we're going to be able to maintain answering every question myself, just because, have you noticed we're about to hit 2 million subs? Hello. And it's getting real. Like, this is growing like a weed. There are apparently millions and millions of people out there who need help with their homes, and no one's out there helping. So I'm not sure what the future holds for the forum, but I'm going to do the best I can to keep up to date. And maybe down the road, we'll be able to hire some really intelligent folks who can help us out. Or maybe, I don't know. Like, my life is a social experiment. No one's ever done this before. So we're just going to have to make it up as we go along. So get in while the getting's good and ask your questions while we're still answering them. Where are we here? CMAC. I want to add square footage to the kitchen by moving the bathroom to the rear of the house. These are both on the same side of the house. Do I need to consult a general contractor or architect? First of all, when you're making major changes to complex systems like a bathroom, don't go to a contractor first unless you got one who's a good friend. Okay? A general contractor may have an opinion, but he's still going to hire an architect to do the drawings for the building permit. So if you go to an architect and then you bring that drawing to a general contractor, then you can get a price to complete the task. If you go to a general contractor, then he'll get the architect. Together, they might formulate something that's a little more complex and unnecessary. All right? So my suggestion is, since the architect isn't getting paid any bonuses for the build cycle, hire them for a drawing. And then the general contractor now is limited to a scope of work and blueprint. If you go to a general contractor, there's lots more opportunity there for creative thinking processes to be engaged to increase your budget before they get started, and to generate problems that need to be solved that are unforeseen. Okay? I'm just speaking real. When you're going to give somebody money and say, hey, fix my house, and they go, hey, well, we ran into a problem. We got to do this. It's going to be this much more money. You got a choice. You can fire them or you can pay the money. But if their scope of work is defined by another professional, then you have a scope of work and you price it. You come to me with an unforeseen, it really better be a bloody unforeseen, because I'll tell you, I'm not a big fan of how a lot of business models out there take advantage of people's lack of understanding of how their house is built. And there is a huge disconnect between most homeowners and understanding of how things get done. And so when a trade comes to them and says, oh, by the way, we have to do this and this and this, we didn't see this in advance, they just take it verbatim, right? In all of my years of construction, I only ever asked a client once for more money than I contracted for. Once. Because I'm a firm believer there's no such thing as a bloody unforeseen. If you didn't know about it beforehand, it's because you don't know what the hell you're doing. Enough said. All right.
Can we get Scott's question here?
Scott has got a question. Yeah, because we only have 6 minutes left. Rapid fire time. My friend has a drain outside her basement sliding door. Okay. In a stairwell, patio, the drain is not piped, just goes to ground. It tends to flood. What can I do but try to dig under the drain cover. Okay, so if there's a drain and it doesn't have an end, that's a problem, right? I would follow the pipe. Get a camera and find out where the hell the pipe goes. And if it goes like 10 feet over here, then it's going to work great for most light rain. But in a major rainstorm, it's not going to do jack squat, right? And then you can dig a hole and put in a big bucket. They actually make like huge, like a couple 100-gallon well, right? And you can stick it in your ground and have the pipe go to that. And it has a bunch of little holes and it slowly leaks and leaches into the ground. That's a great way to manage water on those heavy rainstorm days if you're in a flat plain that don't have the ability to move the water away from the home. Remember, if you can't keep the water away from your house, it's going to erode your structure, especially if you're slab on grade. Incredible number of houses have got major structural issues because you're not moving water away from the house on slab on grade. I mean, it's slab on sand. If the water's sitting there, it's washing the sand away. Sooner or later, the slab breaks. So get yourself one of those buckets 20 feet away from the house and move the water away from your building before it becomes an issue. All right. Is there an easy way to cut the concrete wall in a basement to add an egress window? It's already 36 inches wide, but I need to cut down to 12. Space left. Okay. So yeah, you can cut vertical as much as you want, right to the footing, because it's not structural. They've already taken care of the structural load for the window on top. So feel free to cut it as deep as you want. If you want to go wider, you're calling a structural engineer, you're going to get a plan, and you're going to get a permit, and you're going to get inspected, and you're going to get it sealed, and you're going to have your house still insured. And it's not tricky, and it's not scary, and it's not all that expensive, so feel free. Hey, Mr. Rizzy Painting is in the house once again. Cheers, my man. So Scott's going to take a pic and send it to the post in the forum. I appreciate that, and that's what those are for. The forum is not just a question and answer. It's also a place to upload your pictures so we can take a look, because sometimes things are lost in translation, and it's nice to put eyeballs on it. Oh, wow. Guys, 4:56. We've only got a few minutes left. Okay, 1980 home in Australia, tongue and groove timber, pine subfloor. What methods are there to level or flatten the subfloor for the installation of an SPC hybrid floating floor? Okay, so the methods for leveling are there's only two. One is you can sand down the ridges, and if your variations are less than 1/8 of an inch, you're okay. All right. The other one is you can use a multi-surface bonding primer. Almost every store you go to buy floor leveling compound, they sell the primer right next to it. All right. And you just paint whatever substrate that you have, and you let that dry and cure overnight, and then you can pour the leveler the next day. Always use a tool to trowel your edges, or you're going to get ridges. Okay. And that's that simple, and you'll be fine. And since you're using SPC floating floor, use an underlayment. Okay. It helps to protect the joints from coming apart when you step on it, and sound transmission, impact, noise, slippage, all that jazz. It's worth its weight in gold. That video is coming out in a couple weeks. Next. When redoing old creaky floors and putting in new laminate, what should the subfloor thickness be? OSB or plywood? Okay, Catherine, if you have old creaky floors, you have to screw down your subfloor, or the creak isn't going to go away. The new floor on top is not going to solve your creak, okay? We did a series on subfloor. I'm going to suggest that you go to our home page. All right, there's a little magnifying glass icon, and type in subfloor. Watch that series. You'll understand all of your problems and all of the solutions that are right there in those videos. You don't want to buy a new product and install it until you are ready to install it. So there's some preparation work to do, and you don't want to assume that a new product is going to solve an old problem, because it won't. All right. So don't spend good money to solve a problem and not get it solved. That's just frustrating. You can take care of this. It's not a big deal. It's a simple step-by-step. You got to understand how it's built and why you have noise, and then you'll be able to go, boom, you'll just click. The light will go off. Trust me. All right. Where the heck are we? Yeah, almost. One more question. My husband asked me, did Jeff tell you that? Doesn't matter the convo either. Oh my God. That's funny. Listen, guys, thanks for coming out. Do we have plans for the next show? I'll tell you when the next show is going to be. I am going to do another live show as soon as I'm finished working on my damn house. I'm hoping it's going to be 2 or 3 weeks. Okay. And then we can get back to somewhat of a normal schedule of doing live shows twice a month. But right now, I'm done. I'm baked. I'm finished. I'm wiped out. I'm exhausted. And I really need to get this thing finished and sold while the market is still hot. And there we go. Okay. Thank you very much for joining us, guys. Sorry we're behind on the forum. We are going to fix that this week. We'll be caught up. Cheers to all of you. You guys are the members. You make this all happen, right? You know that. Like without membership, we can't do what we do. So it's awesome. Appreciate it. All right. Hats off to you. Cheers till next time. F out.